So let's talk about the two close games yesterday. Yesterday we had two very close games, which both ended up in very, very, very bad, last second shots. But let's talk about these games. First, I want to talk about this Golden State and Denver game. This Golden State and Denver game was crazy, as both teams it felt like they were going back and forth. Obviously, we saw that Jamal Murray is out. He's injured for right now. It's not a big injury, but he will be out for a good portion of the season. And we got Reggie Jackson as the starting point guard. With that being said, we didn't know what he would be, how he would play. And even though Reggie Jackson's a great player, he doesn't really have, the best reputation of all time. Like, he's been very good. He's been known to be, like, big, as I'm pretty sure his nickname is Big Government, which just basically means, like, that he's really clutch in the important moments. But we didn't know what he would be like next to Jokic as the starting point guard for this Nuggets team. In the end, he had an amazing game, and the reason why I want to talk about him so much is because he was the one who really sealed this game for the Nuggets. Jokic missed two free throws straight, and the Warriors were going for a last-minute shot, but I will talk about that later. But really, who made the last shot for the Denver Nuggets that wasn't a free throw was Reggie Jackson. And in this game, he played amazingly. His percentages are not that great. With all things being said, they are good, but they're not like amazing. But I did want to say that he played phenomenally this game in the pick and roll and everything. And I just wanted to give him a shout out because being thrusted into the starting role from one game to another, I imagine, is not easy. Another guy I want to talk about is Michael Porter Jr., who just, even though his percentages were also not great, he was just on fire. He did a lot for them in the fourth quarter as he took over, and he really set a tone for the Nuggets where it felt like they couldn't miss, and when they did, it wasn't a very terrible miss. And Michael Porter Jr. hit like two or three threes straight in the fourth quarter to really help the Nuggets catch a lead, and then with the last player I wanted to talk about from the Nuggets was the Jokic, obviously, which had 35 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists with 3 steals and a block. And in my opinion, the Nuggets just played amazingly. Aaron Gordon played well, even though he did take some crazy shots, and I do believe that he could have been better at, just playing more into his role and slower, because I do believe that he missed a couple of good, important shots. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I do believe, could have also taken more of his time because he shot 0 of 3 from 3. And honestly, even though he, obviously wasn't that hot this game, we do have to account for the fact that if it wasn't for him, they could have lost this game easily because, like, the difference between this game was 3 points. So I do want to say that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, for the next one, he needs to be better in these types of, like, very close games. And in general, Denver didn't play that well. They had pretty terrible percentages. They shot 45% from the field, 31% from 3, and 68% from the free throw line. And really, what saved them through was mostly their clutch gene. Jokic missed 4 free throws, but when it came and it mattered the most, Reggie Jackson was there, he stepped up. Michael Porter Jr. was there, he stepped up. And even KCP in the final moments, he took a lot of that ball handling responsibilities. I do want to say that Denver fought very hard. And shout out to Justin Holiday for making that 3, which was huge in one of the last quarters. The only shot that he made this game was a really important one. And he played well, honestly. And I do believe that we need to look at this team and go, thank God that they pulled out the win, because in the end they did have a big scare, when Jokic missed both their free throws and then Steph Curry won on the other end. And luckily he couldn't tie. Well, luckily for the Nuggets, he couldn't tie. But in the end, the Nuggets ended up winning this one, but it wasn't as convincingly as it seemed to be in the beginning. With the Warriors, I want to say shout out to the Warriors for coming back. Originally, they were in a hole, and in that third quarter, which we know as the Warriors' third quarters, they came back strong, and they made it a competitive game, which basically made them beat the Nuggets. That third quarter alone made them be up on the Nuggets, but as soon as the Nuggets caught some fire, it was really over for the Warriors. In my opinion, the biggest thing with the Warriors was just mostly, the fact that they didn't have Draymond in the game. I don't know why he wasn't playing. I imagine he has some type of injury. But Draymond could have really helped to guard guys in this game, to make plays, because it did seem like the defense just couldn't stop anybody. And in my opinion, it probably has to do with something that here it says that he's out for personal reasons. So I imagine that it has to do something with his family. So if there's something going on, I hope that he's better. But Draymond this season has been averaging like 47% from the field and 43% from three, right? With 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 10 points. It's the best season he's had in a while, and it's comparable to his All-Star seasons in 2017 and 2018. And I believe that just because of these reasons, I know him also getting 1.5 offensive rebounds per game, Draymond in this game would have helped a lot. He's great, and he's been playing great this season, and I just wanted to shout him out because the Warriors were missing him, Chris Paul was good. He made some tough shots, but in my opinion, the biggest teller in this game was the fact that he got a turnover, and he only had 4 assists. As we know, Chris Paul hasn't really been turning the ball over like that, and he's been really making a lot of great plays for the Warriors. But when it came time to really put it on the deck and make it happen, I do believe that Chris Paul did have some struggles. Moses Moody also, he played really well, in my opinion, making basically everything. I believe that he should have gotten more touches, and him being relegated to 14 minutes after how good he was in those 14 minutes, in my opinion, is disgraceful. Jonathan Kuminga played terribly. He made a few big dunks, but Wiggins could have made those. Anyone other than Kuminga could have made those. And in my opinion, even though Kuminga was a +9 on the field, I believe that was more of the minutes that he was in. And that's something that I wanted to talk about. What happened to the Warriors starters? They were all negative in the plus-minus, right? And even though, yes, most of them, well, not most of them, but some of them had good games. You see, Curry had a pretty decent game. He had 23 points. Curry had an underwhelming game, but he wasn't terrible. But like Klay Thompson played terribly, right? His biggest redeemer was the fact that he got 6 rebounds. And Andrew Wiggins played pretty terribly as well. And his best play of the game was that one layup that he caught off the pass from Looney. And in my opinion, why is Kevon Looney the second best player on the Warriors in this game against Denver? Yes, it was a tough game. And yes, Denver is a great team. But like Steph Curry, obviously he played great. Even though he didn't have that many points, he made them when it mattered the most, and he was struggling in the first few quarters, so his percentages are not going to reflect the best game. But like the rest of the starters, like Klay, he played terribly. He shot 50% from the free throw line and only made 2 threes out of 8 that he shot. Andrew Wiggins made one good play that I saw the entire game, which was that layup in the last second. And the rest of the lineup, even including the bench guys, looked just tough. And especially against the Nuggets, which is a playoff team, how are the Warriors going to beat them if this is how they looked the first time that they faced them? With that being said, they were also in the Nuggets' home. But I do want to say that there is a problem here with the Golden State and their ability to win this game. They did great in the rebounding aspect. They had a lot of rebounds, a lot of offensive rebounds, and they did great when it came to really putting it on the floor without fouling, because they had as many fouls as Denver, and it's known that Denver draws a good amount of fouls, or at least Jokic does, and he's good at that too. So I believe that they did a good job on playing good defense on Jokic and at least trying to stop him. But I do believe that the Warriors have to be better in general and that they have to improve their lineup. But yeah, I'll see you next video and peace.